right, we're back in Studio K. I'm sitting here right now with Rawtwhylah, aka Colin Mitchell. How you feeling right now after that performance?
Feeling great, was a lot of energy. Players did their thing. Yeah, I'm happy.
Totally, that's great. You had a spaceship set up over there, man. Tell me about it. What you got going on?
Man, I got like two snares, three rack toms, two floor toms. I really love big drum sets because it helps me stay creative. And a lot of my favorite drummers play huge drum sets. So
Totally.
it's, a way to honor them while also being super creative.
Great. All right, we'll get to your most favorite drummers in a bit, but first off, I want you to give the names and the instruments of your band members, if you can, please.
Absolutely. First and foremost, we got one of the greatest drummers in the world, Glory Yard on percussion. One of the best and one of my favorite keyboard players, Kavaraj. Beck Shot on the bass, amazing cat. And then one of my great friends, Mike Green on guitar.
Great. All right. Let's get into the songs that we just heard. It started off with Mother Dawn, went to Habibi, and then we went to Moon Rocks. Your songwriting is very eclectic. It's really hard to capture it with one genre.
Yeah.
When people come up to you and they're like, "What kind of music do you play?" What answer do you give them?
I just say I play everything.
You
I'm
play
just
everything?
all around. I love it all. I love listening to it
Yeah.
all, and I love playing it all. So
Okay.
I'm just a everything drummer. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. What are your like core foundational genres, do you think?
I would say definitely jazz fusion, a lot of prog rock and hip hop and gospel. Yeah, that's kind of like a fusion of those genres.
Totally. Okay. And tell me about your songwriting process.
Mhm.
I'm always very curious about instrumental writers. When there's no lyrics, it's harder kind of to push a message. So
Yeah.
when you're writing, do you sit down and consciously think about a message that you want to put out there, or do you let the music kind of speak for itself later on?
I think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
I'm kind of weird with songwriting because I like to write from my song names.
Mm.
I'm a really like song name nerd. I really like
Okay.
weird song names, so I like write out all my song names that I would want, and then try to write the music to that.
Interesting.
Yeah, essentially. So like with Mother Dawn, my mom's name is Dawn,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's kind of like a homage to her. So yeah, it was kind of like, how am I gonna like, do that? So I'm from the Caribbean, and it kind of has like that type of Caribbean vibe to it, mixed with the jazz music, which is like her favorite style of music.
That's
So
great. That's
yeah.
great. Speaking of your mom, I know
Mhm.
that you've told me in the past that your name is also somewhat of a tribute to her, Rottweiler.
Yeah,
Yeah. Tell
yeah.
me about that.
So I have it like spelt like super weird because my mom is a speech therapist,
Okay.
and it's like spelled out like phonetics, which is like how you sound out words
Right.
essentially. So yeah, it was just kind of like a, you know, try to figure out like the personality in there while also,
Totally. Yeah, and tell me how does Rottweiler kind of describe you as a person? Would you
yeah.
say?
So it's my favorite dog.
Okay.
So that's one thing for sure.
Cool.
But like, I think like I'm kind of like this puppy dog person, like in person, but like as soon as I get behind the kid, I'm always like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was just kind of like it just fit, honestly.
I would say it's very fitting.
Yeah.
You are vicious on the kit.
Thank you.
Definitely. All right. Before you mentioned that you're from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Cool. So how did you get into drums when you were over there?
Okay, so my dad was in the military, and I just kind of like grew up going to a lot of military parades and events that would always have like marching bands, and of course, the steel pan is the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago, so they would have a lot of steel pan, big, huge groups that would play at these events too, and I would always just gravitate towards the drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what. That was like I have to have more of this,
Totally.
Yeah, so I would like go home and like break out all my grandma's pots and pans and all that stuff, trying to emulate all the stuff that I was hearing. So
Cool. And you played in a steel pan orchestra yourself too, isn't that right?
yes, correct. That's how I grew up playing drums, essentially. Yeah.
Okay. And tell me about your journeys. We've talked about this before, but
Yeah.
you went to Europe, isn't that right, with that orchestra?
Yeah. So when I was like 12 or 13, I had my first tour to Scotland and England with my elementary school. It's really primary school. So Trinidad is in the British system. So we have primary and secondary school.
Right.
So the primary school that I was in, which would be considered as elementary school here,
Yeah.
we had a steel drum ensemble, and I was playing drums with that pretty much since my beginning stages of drumming. And yeah, we ended up going to Scotland and England to play for the Aberdeen Youth Festival.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was an amazing experience, man. I'm very blessed and fortunate to be able to do that at such a young age.
Totally. Yeah, that's huge. You were 13, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
about
that's
yeah.
crazy. That's
hmm
crazy. So tell me about when you came over to the U.S.
hmm
How was that kind of cultural shift for you in terms of both musically and
hmm
just in general?
Um, it was it was interesting, that's for sure. Because I came here in high school. I also had 1 year of living in Kansas when I was a young kid too.
Oh, cool.
So I kind of knew what to like expect being in America.
Yeah.
But I will say that coming here has exposed me to so many different styles of music that I've grown to like really love and appreciate.
Totally.
So yeah, it was really great. Meeting a lot of people that just exposed me to that. Kind of made me the musician I am today.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so you went on to go to school
hmm
for music. You went to McNally in Columbia, right?
Yes.
Tell me what things did you kind of gather from that experience? What are the positives of your time in music school?
Learning how to network with different people. Um, Definitely learning how to just get myself out there as a musician. Um, Yeah, and there were things that the teachers at those schools taught me to like kind of like advance my playing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing I took away was that network of people and just striving to like meet as many people as possible and gain all these inspirations from all these different
Yeah.
people.
A couple of people here today that are playing with you, they're from McNally as well. Isn't that
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Glory and Kavi, actually, and Mike too. I went to school with Glory and Kavi, but Mike was a little earlier than me.
Okay,
So
cool. And that's how you made the connection
yeah,
with Kavi and Glory?
yeah.
Okay.
hmm
That's awesome. That's really cool. All right. Well, so since coming out of school, tell me about like your most memorable moment as a musician out in the world.
Ooh, yeah, I have some good ones. Playing at there was this Super Bowl live. When the Super Bowl was here, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they threw this like huge like concert series that was like a week long. And I got to play with one of my bands, my group's Illism
Yeah.
that I'm in. And that was like really super crazy. There was like 5,000 people like out in the
Wow.
streets, downtown, like
Yeah.
just listening to this concert. Also playing at Paisley Park with them, also playing at NAM with them. And then my very first show headlining with my own group at Ice House on Memorial Day last year. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like every single experience that I've ever had. You know what I'm
Totally.
saying? But yeah, those definitely stick out.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I kind of want to shift a little bit to you as somewhat of a student of music.
hmm
You are a performer, but I know that you have a great knowledge of music history and that kind of stuff.
hmm
Why do you think it's important to be both a student and, if not more so, a student than a performer
Yeah.
of music?
Um, you can learn something from anyone.
Hmm.
Any level of musician has something to offer, and I think just being able to appreciate that, and having an open mind with music, I think that is like the greatest gift that a musician can have.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool. And who has been inspiring you lately? It can be in your circle or just out in the world.
Oh man,
Yeah.
all these guys in the band
Yeah.
definitely.
Totally.
So drummers. Okay, let me give you like my old school heroes and like
Yeah.
my new
Give
school
it to me.
heroes. So
Give it
like
to
the
me.
old school heroes, Tony Williams, who I actually have on my T-shirt.
Hmm.
He's like he changed the sound. He's like the goat, honestly. And then Elvin Jones, Billy Cobham, and Dennis Chambers. Those four would be like the Mount Rushmore of drums to
Okay.
me. You know. Um, let's see what Vinny Colaiuta, Chris Dave. Let's get into the modern ones now,
Yeah.
like
Good
Black
transition.
Dynamite, Ronald Bruner. I said Chris Dave, Aaron Spears. Like all of my friends, literally that play drums. Thomas Pridgeon for sure, because he was like the one that kind of like get me into rock and prog rock and all of that. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, bro. There's
Yeah.
like a huge long list.
Of those names that you just mentioned, have you met some of those of like the celebrity
Yeah,
types?
I've met Aaron Spears. I met him firstly at um, this place called the Drum Fantasy Camp
Okay.
that I went to while I was in high school, and it's crazy because my drum teacher in Trinidad, like before I moved here, like I was always been a huge like Aaron Spears fan. He played for Usher and Ariana Grande and all these different people. Um, and before I moved like to America, my teacher was like, "Look, I know one day I'm gonna see you like in DC, like walking down with like Aaron Spears," and it's hilarious because I ended up 2 years later after that, like meeting him, and it was just so dope being
Wow.
able to be around him. I met Thomas Bridgen and Nam, and then I met Black Dynamite a couple times in Chicago when I was out there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really cool. All right. Well, we're getting to time here. I just want to ask you some things that are coming up for you. I've heard some
hmm
rumors of a new project that you may or may not be recording
Oh yes,
sometime soon.
absolutely.
What we just heard, are those songs going to be part of that project?
Yeah, the first two songs, Mother Dawn and Habibi, are definitely going to be on that. And, that album, I actually already have like most of the drums recorded. So it's just getting like everybody else.
Cool.
But it's going to be like just everything that I love. Another dedication to my heroes, just very wide range of genres.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm telling my story.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be entitled Reaching. So it's kind of like I'm here, I've reached, I'm finally here. So
Yeah.
yeah, look out for that.
That's great. That's great.
Definitely.
And tell me about any shows that you have coming up in the near future.
Okay. April 1st, I'm playing with Illism at the Carnage, the Executioner show at Hook and Ladder. April 20th, I'm going to be playing at the Green Room with both Illism and my group, and the Culture is actually going to be on that show as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and then there's various things throughout the summer. Juneteenth festival, Soul of the South Side. That's going to be coming up at the Hook and Ladder. That's going to be a really awesome festival. So, yeah, there's different things.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
You're a busy guy. That's awesome.
Trying to be, man.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
Totally. All right. Now I have a kind of a fun question for you.
Mhm.
You are headlining a bill, and you have to build the rest of the bill. You get
Mhm.
3 more acts to come after you. Who's going to be on that bill?
Oh my. Ooh, that is a good question. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Dream Bill. Um, I would headline. I would do the headlining, and then I would have. You said 3 bands.
Yep, 3 bands.
I would do Thundercat.
Okay.
I would do Robert Glasper, and probably Illism too, just so I could get
yes,
on there
yeah.
twice.
Put 'em on.
But yeah, I feel like that would be an incredible concert.
That would
I
be-
would want to go see that concert.
I would pay a lot of money to see
Yeah.
that concert.
For real.
Yeah. All right, cool. Another fun question I have for you. If you weren't a drummer, what would you do?
I'd be a race car driver.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm super into cars. I love cars.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that would definitely be my.
What's your
vibe.
favorite car?
A Koenigsegg Jesko. I know that's like a really weird name, but it's like a Swedish car brand, and they make like beautiful, incredible like hypercars, like super fast cars. So
Cool.
yeah, I hope to own one of those one day. That would be a dream come true.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. I want to give you a chance to say anything else that you want to say now for our Radio K listeners.
Okay. I want to give a few shout outs. Shout out my grandpa. He just turned 95 on Wednesday. Shout out Heather Johnson, my homegirl Cleo. That's her mom. It's her birthday today. Shout out Illism for always believing me. Being amazing homies and fam. Shout out everybody in the band. Yeah, all my friends who might see this, and family too. Love you guys. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Colin, Rawtwhylah, and the Maki thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We're going to kick it back to the studio for some more local music until 5. But until then, you're listening to Radio K, Real College Radio.